All of the men of Tantura were taken to the cemetery of the village, and they put them in lines, and they ordered them to begin digging. And every line that finished digging just was shot and fell down to the holes, which I guess reminds at least a few of you something that had to do with Germans. 3 years after the end of the Second World War. I want you to know it's not a great pleasure for me to tell you all of this. It's a great pain until this very day, although it takes already a few good years. I am not yet very used to what I myself found in this research. Another interview that I had was with a night guard, a Jewish living in Zichron Yaakov, very close to Tantura. He was taken by the soldiers as a guide to take the Company A to attack Tantura from the north. And he told me that after the battle, he was responsible to bury the bodies of the Palestinians in Tantura. Of course, hearing this, I immediately asked him, how many did you bury? And he told me, I counted 180, 200, 230 and stopped. He didn't say finished, stopped. 2 years later, he was asked by people who made a film about the county of that place for 50 years of independence of Israel. And of course, they had to take Tantura as something that symbolizes the heroism of that chosen nation and chosen army, pure army. And they began to take all kinds of interviews with people, but every time they came closer to Tantura, they stopped because it began to smell very bad. But in one rough piece of audio cassette that I found in one of the archives there in the area, that man answered on the same question 270 to 280, which means not 20 and not 25, much, much more. And I know from other interviews that they were killed in all kinds of forms, in the trees, behind the trees, in the seashore, everywhere. And this makes a kind of explanation why 3 weeks later they received that order. Treat to bury fast as possible the bodies in order to prevent high disease, which didn't say very much, being just this order without the personal evidences. I am attacked, among other things, that how comes that I, based on personal stories, I am telling about a massacre. And it's impossible to be based on personal stories, and oral history as a whole is not to be used in researches about 48 war. My answer to this is very simple. Those who will make researches about 48, I hope it will happen once, will have to explain very carefully why, if they won't use personal stories. We are talking about what we call contemporary history. Those who will make those researches without personal stories will have to explain this, and not the opposite. I finished the thesis in March 98. I received in August or September 97 from 100, which is not very bad. and then dedicated another year to complete the seminars and to finish with all of the duties of the master. And then I was announced that I finished everything in excellent grade B, and that they are going to take this thesis to put it in the kind of a competition of the faculty for receiving prize, which I never asked, but thank you. But at the same time, the Noble University of Haifa sent a letter, a routine letter, in what we call in spread NATO to everywhere, to universities and to newspapers and so on, with list of students who finished their masters with the subjects of the masters also, with the thesis. And a friend of me who learned with me in courses with, I don't know if anyone knows, Ilan Pappe, one of the very best Palestinologists in the world. He learned courses with me, and he knew that I came back to the university. He was at the time already the manager of Ma'ariv in Haifa, the second big newspaper in Israel. And he wanted to ask me questions about the thesis, because in the last time he saw me, when he knew that I'm back in the university and asked questions, I already was working of this thesis of Massacre, and I wanted less than anything else newspapers to get inside. Anyway, he was very suspicious because I answered him about all kinds of things, about the weather, and people are very nice here and so on. And he was working in the intelligence in the army, and he became very suspicious. And I also didn't want to answer him when he asked me after receiving the letter. So he just went to the university and read the thesis and received what we call in Hebrew, in Arabic, harara. Harara is fever. He prepared, although I asked him not to do it yet because I wanted to prepare an article for the Journal of Palestine Studies, edited in Washington, like it is a custom in such cases. But he wanted to make his article, and he did it, and this appeared in that Ma'ariv in one of the weekends of January 2000. A big noise was made because of this, and many televisions from the whole world, radios and so on, came. And 5 days later, I found myself hospitalized in the Hillel Yafe hospital in Hadera because of a brain stroke that attacked my 3 foreign languages, English, Spanish, and Arabic. You probably can feel that I'm not very, very strong in English. It's nothing like I'm able to be proud about. Anyway, I'm telling you this because a few months later, I was asked to apologize about this thesis, and those heroes of the Alexandroni Brigade was demanding me to apologize, or if not, they are going to make a court law against me, telling that I am a liar, talking about libel and so on. At that moment, I turned to the famous University of Haifa, and then the rector, who was, by the way, a lecturer of me, with 3 courses of only 95 and 96 in the second also. And I just asked him why, and if the University of Haifa, the Noble University of Haifa, does not enter to this business. And then he answered me that the university has only academical responsibility and nothing juridically. And then I asked him, just tell me if in a case I made this thesis out in the street, didn't I have supervisor from the university that by chance was also the chairman of the department, a professor? Or did not 3 professors check this thesis? And besides, I just asked him personally because we were good friends until then. Don't you believe me? Do you take me like a liar suddenly because until this moment you never told me anything like this? I am not your teacher now, was the answer. I am your rector.